No one talks about having a manifestation process that creates feeling with relative ease without needing the preparation first, such as breath work, such as sats or meditation or things of the sort. Because if you're like me, sometimes you're too busy to do an additional meditation just to calm yourself down, to then spend more time visualizing. Or sometimes you might be just a little bit too tired at night and you just want to go to sleep instead of laying there for ages trying to get into the state akin to sleep and then holding a visualization as you are falling asleep. So what I'll be talking about today is, in my view, the best method for creating the feeling with very little ease and borderline zero preparation first. And that method is, of course, Neville Goddard's inner conversations. Now, before we do dive into these inner conversations today, if you could drop me a like and a comment to let me know you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell icon. And if you're ready to level up your life and make lasting changes, regardless of if it's money, specific person, self-concept, or anything of the sort, in the description and the comment section are the links to my website. Check out what I have to offer. I would love to work with you. But without further ado, let's dive into this video. Now, the reason why I believe that the inner conversation method creates such a powerful feeling and doesn't need the pretense is because it's a very realistic scene that you will be innerly conversing, and it's something that you can loop over and over with having a script to hold to. One of the reasons why many people like affirmations is because it's the same thing over and over, and you're just repeating it without needing a lot of focus and attention to continue to repeat. Whereas on the flip side, visualizations at times require a lot of mental strain and focus to keep the scene going, to keep the details in, to keep the things that you want going on. Inner conversations are like the birth child of these two processes, because you take a scene that implies you already have what you want, or more accurately, the conversation. And I will get onto some examples in a moment, but you take the conversation that implies what you want already exists, and you simply loop the conversation. Now, if you think of the conversation and each line in the conversation to be its own affirmation, you're basically just looping 6 affirmations, one after the other in a formatted sequence. However, those affirmations, those conversation points, those sentences are from a realistic scene involving real people and a real conversation that you would have if you had what you wanted. So it's the visual scene without holding a visual scene on the go, if that makes sense. So what you're doing, you're creating a conversation that would happen if you had what you want, and you are simply looping it over and over and over. The fact that it's in kind of an affirmation format makes it easy to loop over and over and over again. But the fact that it's got the realism and the scenario that would happen of a real scene or a real visualization helps really put you in that place to help you create feeling with ease. Now, feeling isn't an absolute necessity. So if you're sitting here thinking, but I love my robotic affirmations, that is fine. You crack on with those. But if you're like me and you like to feel good when doing the manifestation process from time to time, or you want to have that extra bang for your buck when manifesting, then feeling is really that chef's kiss ingredient that needs to be added. And this process, this inner conversation method, in my view, in my experience, is the easiest way to create that feeling and the most consistent. I've practiced visualizations, I've made videos on improving visualizations, and I'm fairly good at visualizations. But my visualizations aren't as consistent as my inner conversations because affirmations are more my thing out of affirmations and out of visualizations. So this helps me do what works best for me while stealing the little good parts of what a visualization is aiming to do. So that's why I think this is the best thing that you can do for yourself if you want feeling with ease. But how do we actually do it? Well, decide a scene that is realistic for you if you had what you want. Now, I say realistic just for your ease. Anything is possible, so any scene could be realistic, but realistic for you. For example, it's very unlikely that I would be sat on the phone with the President of Canada telling him that I finally reached 100,000 subscribers, because I don't know the President of Canada. I don't know anything about the President of Canada. I don't even know if they're like a man or woman. I have no idea. Why would I be telling him? It doesn't make sense. So for me, that's an unrealistic scene. It's pointless. A realistic scene for me, if I was using that example, could be speaking on the phone to Katie and telling her about it. Or taking my phone with the YouTube Studio app to Katie and saying, look, we finally hit 100,000 subscribers. And then her saying, wow, that's incredible. You know, you're amazing, and so on and so forth. That's realistic for me because that's something that would happen. So if you're manifesting a person, it could be you on the phone to your mum or dad or someone close to you saying, you know, this relationship with Darren is amazing. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, we're going to get married soon. Or vice versa. I'm so happy to be with Stacey. I'm thinking about proposing soon. What are your thoughts? And then your mum and dad going, that's amazing. You two are amazing together. Yada, yada, yada. A conversation that implies you have what you want. And then as you go forward, all you're going to do is return to that inner conversation. It is as simple as that. If you have a routine time, you can add it in then. When I say 5 to 10 minutes of affirmations in my other videos, you could have 5 to 10 minutes of that inner conversation. Just looping over, hey mum, thought I'd call you today. You know, me and Stacey, we're going out this evening. I'm super excited. I love being with her and I'm thinking about proposing to her. And then she could go, you know what, Jake, that's amazing. You two are incredible together. I'm so happy you chose each other. And then that can be it. It implies that you're together. It implies that people are happy about it. It implies that it's going well enough for a proposal and so on. Perfect scene and easy to loop because it's just a couple of sentences. So for your 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and night that I always recommend, or if you wanted to do it while you fall asleep, just loop that in a conversation. All your subconscious mind is hearing is conversation about being with someone, proposing, everything's amazing. Let me get pushing that out. And that's exactly what it will do. And of course, you can utilize this this inner conversation whenever it comes to mind naturally, or if you need to use it as an anchor when thoughts come up that are a bit undesired. Let's say you have a moment of panic during the day, take a couple of deep breaths just to calm yourself down, and then go back to your inner conversation. The example I gave is but one example. It could be you talking to your person about how amazing the relationship is, and them saying how much they agree. It could be you talking to your manager saying, hey, thank you so much for hiring me. This job is the best opportunity I've ever had. Or it could be you talking to the real estate agent saying, thank you so much for selling me this house and filling out all the paperwork. When do I get the keys? It can be really anything you want, anything that implies that you have what you want. And all you're going to do is loop it and return to it. And because it is something that is realistic and has the ingredients of a true scenario, you will find that that feeling comes much easier. Now, if you do want to increase the potency of the feeling, the effectiveness of the feeling, or the speed at which the feeling comes about, then the preparation stuff I mentioned at the beginning will help. If you do a meditation first or some breath work first, you will find yourself just slipping into that story much, much quicker. But from my own experiences, this process, this technique that Neville Goddard spoke of, works with creating the feeling with relative ease without prior preparation. In fact, I actually did it myself a couple of hours ago this morning, which was the inspiration for this video. I had a different idea on the go, a success story video, and I figured, you know what? I don't often represent Neville Goddard on my channel. I don't often talk about inner conversations on my channel, but I just had a conversation with Katie, just talking to her about a couple of things, you know, in my imagination, and I felt really good when I was done. So why don't I share it? Because that's what this channel is all about. It's me speaking from my experiences so you can take it from someone that truly lives what he's talking about. So why not tell you what I'm living? You know, why not give you exactly what I just did a couple of hours ago? But that is the process. You decide what you want to experience. No desire is too big, no desire is too small. Whatever you want, decide it. Then you're going to decide a conversation with someone that is realistic enough to you where you can do it without feeling goofy. If I was trying to sit on the phone to Ronaldo telling him about, you know, my 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to feel like a bit of a twit. Whereas me talking to Katie about that, realistic, helps me feel into it, helps make it real. So decide a conversation with whomever you want about whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want, doesn't matter. Decide your conversation and then proactively enter that conversation in the morning and night and as you're falling asleep, should you wish to, and whenever it comes to mind naturally during the day or whenever you need just a little reminder of your end result if something undesired comes up, and this will help you manifest that desire. But I really hope this video has helped. If it has, drop me a like, drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell icon. If you do need any help from me on a one-to-one basis, I do have products and services and courses and academies and all this great stuff on my membership. I'd love to have you there. But for now, thank you for being here with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.